Have you ever felt like you were trying with someone, but they always kept their distance? They might seem interested for a moment, then suddenly disappear, becoming cold and distant. If you have ever experienced that, then you are likely dealing with an avoidant, someone who fears intimacy but refuses to admit it. But here's the scariest part. They have made you believe in the biggest lie. A lie that can make you doubt yourself, question whether you did something wrong, and this very lie has kept you trapped in a relationship with them longer than you should have been. Hello, I'm Jim Rohn, and today I will expose the biggest lie an avoidant makes you believe, and more importantly, I will help you reclaim your power. If you feel confused, hurt, or exhausted from trying to connect with someone only to be pushed away, this video will help you understand the truth and never fall into that trap again. You will discover the subtle lie that avoidants use to keep you under their control, how they manipulate your emotions to make you blame yourself, and most importantly, how you can turn the tables and stop being trapped in their game. Before we begin, if you want to continue exploring deep psychological truths like this, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. That way you won't miss any videos, and it will also help the channel grow so I can keep sharing important insights that make you stronger and wiser in your relationships. Now, let's expose the lie they never want you to see. We will explore this through a story I'm about to tell you. It will help you find your own answers, and I'll reveal an interesting truth that I'm sure you won't want to miss. All right, my friend, let's begin. In a small suburban town in America, where the streets were covered with golden leaves every autumn, Jake and Emily had once been everything to each other. Jake, with deep blue eyes and a cold demeanor, was a reserved mechanic. Emily, a freelance artist with fiery red hair, believed that love could heal all wounds. They met during a storm, when Emily ran into Jake's garage to take shelter from the rain, and from that moment, their love ignited like an unstoppable flame. But that flame gradually turned to ashes. Jake started to pull away. The nights he disappeared without explanation, the unanswered messages, and the way he avoided Emily's eyes whenever she tried to reach his soul. "Jake, where were you last night? I called you a dozen times," Emily cried out in their small kitchen, her voice breaking from pain. Jake just shrugged, gripping his beer bottle tightly, and replied coldly, "Don't overreact. I just needed some space." "Space?" Emily shouted, tears streaming down her face. "You disappear all night and come back like nothing happened. What do you think I am, Jake? A doll you can play with when you want and toss aside when you don't?" She slammed her hand on the table, knocking over their favorite glass cup. Jake turned away, lips pressed into a thin line. "Are you done? I'm tired," he said, his voice emotionless, as if his heart had long since turned to stone. Jake's avoidance didn't stop there. One day, Emily found a strange necklace in his jacket pocket, not a gift she had ever given him. She clenched it tightly and confronted him in the freezing rain outside the garage. "Whose is this, Jake? Tell me the truth," she screamed, rain mixing with the tears on her face. Jake looked at her, his eyes empty. "Stop digging into my past. It doesn't mean anything," he said, his voice hoarse but devoid of emotion. "Doesn't mean anything?" Emily screamed, throwing the necklace to the ground. "You are killing me every day, Jake. Do you think I don't see it? Do you think I don't feel how you push me away? But I'm still here because I love you, you bastard." She lunged at him, pounding his chest, as if trying to awaken his frozen heart. Jake stood still, not resisting, only whispering, "I'm not worth it, Emily. Go." That sentence was the breaking point. Emily collapsed, covering her face as she sobbed in the rain. "You are the worst liar I have ever known," she choked out. "You made me believe you loved me, but the truth is, you never had the courage to face yourself." She stood up and walked away, leaving Jake standing alone in the darkness. The following week, Emily left town, carrying a wound that would never fully heal. Jake didn't look for her. He continued his life. But every night he sat in his garage, staring at the broken glass he couldn't bring himself to fix, wondering if his avoidance had been the very knife he used to stab both their hearts. He had made her believe in a love that wasn't real, And now he was left with nothing but loneliness, the greatest tragedy he had brought upon himself. One of the most subtle tactics of an avoidant person is making you believe that you are the reason they pull away. They do this in different ways, silently withdrawing, acting cold without any explanation, or even outright telling you that you are too sensitive, too demanding, or expecting too much from the relationship. This not only confuses you, but also plants a sense of guilt within you for loving too much, for wanting a deeper connection. But here is the reality. The problem is not you. You are simply displaying completely normal behaviors in a healthy relationship. You seek understanding, closeness, and sincerity. These are things that anyone would desire. However, an avoidant person sees these desires as pressure, as a threat to their personal space, and instead of acknowledging their own issues, they shift the responsibility onto you, making you believe that if you change, if you become less emotional, expect less, then things will improve. The truth is, this is not an unconscious reaction, but a deliberate defense mechanism. They do this not just to maintain distance, but also to avoid confronting the deep wounds within themselves. Admitting that they have an issue would mean looking inward, facing their fears and unresolved pain, something they are not ready to do. This behavior often stems from a childhood filled with emotional deprivation. As children, they may not have received love or comfort from their caregivers, leading them to learn how to stand on their own by suppressing their need for closeness. Over time, they built an invisible wall, avoiding intimacy to protect their hearts from potential pain. This is not just a habit, but a deeply ingrained instinct within them. As they grow older, that wall thickens, turning love and affection into something frightening, like a cold wind that makes them shiver. When someone gets too close, they feel as if they are being swept into a vortex of chaos, and running away becomes the only escape they know. It is not because you did anything wrong, but because they have never learned how to open up to themselves. To change, they must face their old wounds, the buried emotions, the memories that once made them withdraw. But doing so is like stepping through a door lined with thorns, painful and terrifying. Even though they know healing requires courage, they still choose to run, not just from others, but from themselves. Even when someone genuinely wants to reach out and help, they turn away. They tell themselves that maintaining distance is safer, that letting someone in only invites risk. In their minds, the narrative is perfectly logical. They do not need to change, and living in solitude is the smartest choice. These avoidant behaviors are not random, but a way for them to protect themselves. They maintain distance not only to avoid intimacy, but also to escape responsibility. Admitting their own issues would mean confronting old wounds, something they refuse to do. Instead, they place the blame on you, making you think you are the cause, when in reality they are just hiding their own weakness. This pattern often originates from childhood. Perhaps they lacked affection from their parents or caregivers. Without comfort, they learned to protect themselves by suppressing emotions and avoiding attachment. Over time, this became a habit, avoiding closeness to prevent getting hurt. As time passes, that habit turns into a barrier. They see love as a threat, not as something beautiful. When you get too close, they panic, feeling like they are losing control. Running away is their natural reaction, not because you are wrong, but because they do not know how to face themselves. To change, they must look back at their past, the wounds that created this shell. But that is difficult because revisiting old pain terrifies them. They would rather run than heal. Even when you try to help, they avoid it, convincing themselves that keeping distance is the right choice, that too much intimacy is dangerous. Not only do they believe this, but they also try to make you think that is what love should be. But even if they want to change, their body and mind resist. The brain always chooses safety over growth, so they stick to old patterns, even though they know it hurts them. At first, they may seem loving, making you believe in the relationship, but then they withdraw, turn cold, leaving you wondering what you did wrong. You remember the beautiful moments at the beginning and try to hold on. The more you open your heart, the more they fear and push you away, blaming you so that you believe you are the problem. In reality, nothing changed because of you. It changed because they fear intimacy. The early stages of a relationship are always sweet, but when things deepen, they panic and retreat. If you do not realize this, you will blame yourself, trying to change to keep them. But the issue is not you, it is that they do not know how to love without fear. Loving an avoidant person makes you prone to believing you are at fault when they leave. You search for reasons, even change yourself. But they pull away not because of you, but because they cannot handle closeness. This has nothing to do with you being too sensitive or expecting too much. The problem lies with them. Accepting this is not easy. When the person you love leaves, you ask yourself what you did wrong. But you gave your best. You loved sincerely. If they could not receive it, that is not your fault. Stop blaming yourself and focus on yourself. You deserve a love that does not make you doubt yourself. It is time to let go and move forward. In summary, avoidant people do not leave because you did something wrong, but because they do not know how to receive love without feeling threatened. Their behavior stems from old wounds, from a childhood lacking emotional warmth, gradually forming a defense mechanism to avoid intimacy. While they may initially make you believe in a beautiful relationship, as things deepen, their fear of losing control causes them to withdraw. This is not your fault. It is how they cope with themselves. You can love, be patient, and even try to change to accommodate them, but if they are not willing to face their inner pain, no effort on your part will change anything. Most importantly, you must recognize that your self-worth is not determined by whether they stay or leave. Instead of blaming yourself or holding on, take the time to heal and seek a love that is truly deserving, a love that does not make you question yourself. I hope this article has helped you better understand avoidant individuals and how to protect your heart in such relationships. Life is not always easy, but when you understand the root of the problem, you gain the strength to move forward. Do not let the wounds caused by others make you forget that you deserve to be loved fully. Remember, letting go is not losing. It is choosing yourself, choosing a better future. Thank you for watching this video. I truly appreciate your support and for being part of this journey and sharing meaningful stories and lessons. If you found this content helpful, please hit the subscribe button so you do not miss future videos. I would love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share your experiences. Have you ever encountered an avoidant person in your life? How did you overcome it? Your stories are a valuable source of inspiration for me and for this community. Let's create a space for learning and empathy together. Once again, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next videos, wishing you strength, self-love, and the happiness you truly deserve in life.